Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to our channel Jaipuriya Talks with one another very insightful, very meaningful conversation with Mr. Sandeep Gautam. And let me have this privilege of introducing him to all of you. He is working towards suicide prevention and holistic well being of students. He is co founder, CTO, CSO at Peak Mind, and he was ex Cisco. He is a QPR certified gatekeeper instructor, a Gallup certified strengths coach, a 16 PS certified practitioner, a certified master trainer from MEPSC, and he was the global representative India for International Positive Education Network IPEN. He is an alumnus of IIT Delhi and IIM Calcutta. Welcome to the episode, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. And very humbled and honored to be present here.
Yes. So I will dive deep straight into what your LinkedIn bio also says, that you are into suicide prevention.
Yeah.
So when we talk about suicide prevention and mental health programs, students especially spend a lot of time in colleges, in schools, in academic institutes. So what active role you identify of school and colleges in identifying suicide prevention as well as fostering the mental health?
I think schools and institutions play a very vital role.
Hmm.
And I would also include in the educational institutes because in our society, coaching institutes is also a very big pillar of
Yes.
all this thing, all this
Hmm.
infrastructure and ecosystem. So
Hmm.
they also play a very important role in identifying early, like the students who are vulnerable and
Hmm.
providing them adequate support. So
Hmm.
this can be done in multiple ways. Like, for example, the teachers, the faculty, the staff, they can be trained as in gatekeeper training, either by QPR or any other institute also. So basically, gatekeeper training is something which enables the faculty or the whoever is dealing with the student. It can be delivered to parents also. But in
Hmm.
terms of educational institutes, it make more sense to focus on the faculty and the staff. So they
Hmm.
can identify the early warning signs of the student, like whether
Hmm.
they are skipping classes, whether they are going to hostels and not eating stuff, not coming out of the
Hmm. Yes.
mess
Hmm.
to the mess for having food or things like that. If there
Hmm.
are any behavior changes in them, their mood has changed suddenly. So all
Hmm.
those things they can identify, then they can apply specific techniques, be very open to asking the question in private uh,
Hmm.
to the student whether they are feeling suicidal or contemplating any such act. So that much openness has to be there, that you are able to initiate such a conversation without
Hmm.
feeling awkward, because it does feel awkward at times, but it is very important to ask very empathetically and very
Hmm.
like promptly whenever
Hmm.
you notice some signs, danger signs.
Hmm. So that's a very meaningful and unique concept, that is the QPR certified gatekeeper instructor. So you have said that teachers can be trained and even parents can be trained. So for the benefit of our viewers and our readers, can you explain a little bit more that like what is the modality? How many days of training is there? Can it be online also? And what are some of the contents the teachers and the parents will have once they get go through this gatekeeper training?
Right, right. So the gatekeeper training is a very simple training. Like the QPR training can be done offline or online in both the
Mm,
modalities. It is done in a small group setting, like
mm,
maximum 25 students, 25
mm,
participants, for example, to keep it interactive. We
mm,
do role plays and case studies and like some instructional training also.
mm.
But it can be finished in like 3 hours, for example, in a
Mm.
single day.
Okay.
And then you need to practice it with your fellow participants
Mm,
or with the instructor, how you are going to ask the question,
mm,
how you are going to persuade
mm,
for the student to stay alive and postpone their decision, and
mm,
how you are going to refer them to the right professional. So it's a
mm.
very simple technique which can be learned very quickly, but it
Mm.
has life transforming and life saving
Yes.
effects. So
Yes.
like and it can be done both offline and online.
Mhm.
So I think there's no reason we should not make it mandatory for all the staff and
Mhm.
faculty in the education institutes.
Hmm. Yes. So that sounds very useful and it can be mandatory also. So that is one aspect that the teachers and the staff can have gatekeeper training. Otherwise, also now looking beyond this fatal decision of suicide, we must think about mindful and resilience also. So
Right.
why, first of all, my question would be that why do you think post-COVID there are more signs of people not having a good mental health, especially students, and resilience levels are also going down. Like a simple social media comment by somebody can also trigger somebody to go into depression or into sadness and mental health issues. So, why, from the societal point of view, why do you think this is happening first?
Yes, I mean, why students get pushed to the brink is a very complex topic, and there are no easy or simple answers why this trend is increasing or what could be the underlying reasons.
Mhm.
Typically, like if we stay in the context of suicide only, there are multiple factors that contribute to the decision when
Mhm.
someone decides to end their life. And
Mhm.
how they arrive at the decision could be due to various factors like not doing well in academics, maybe
Mhm.
some relationship issues also,
Mhm.
maybe there are financial problems at home,
Mhm.
maybe they did not pick up the life skills to cope with stress, maybe
Mhm.
they have an impulsive tendency and like in the heat of the moment they do something stupid.
Mhm.
So all those things contribute to these things. In terms of post COVID, like during the COVID years, people did not get that much exposure to like connect with friends and all. So
Mhm.
definitely, at least for that brief period, the rise might have been attributed due to
Yes.
the fact that there was a lack of connectivity and lack of
Mhm.
social support. And then definitely the social media trend is very much concerning
Mhm.
because because of the like we think that we are connected on social media with a
Yes.
lot of people, but in
Yes.
actuality we are very lonesome at times and we are just comparing ourselves with others
Mhm.
happy statuses
Yes. Yes.
because we don't see the grind that they go through or the normal life that they are living
Mhm.
on social
Yes.
media. It's a very doctored image that is created.
Yes.
So
Yes.
in that sense, that does contribute to mental health issues.
Mhm.
So what is important is that we make ourselves resilient and take control in our hands
Mhm.
by learning how to cope with such things, realizing that these things are futile or not really important.
Mhm.
Comparing oneself with Sharma ji ka beta, for example,
Yes.
either
Mhm.
yourself or your parents doing it and then taking that pressure.
Yes. Yes.
So a lot of education is required, mental health education is required, and a lot of stigma reduction is required. So
Mhm.
people should come out more openly about the challenges they have faced and how
Mhm.
they have overcome it. And
Yes.
that could be a good role model for other people to also open up and like own up to the fact that they are struggling and that they require help. Help seeking is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength that you
Mhm.
recognize what you are going through and that you reach out to appropriate people for help.
Hmm. So you have rightly said that so on social media we are connected with people, but that connection is not real. And in today's day and age, it's very difficult also to have meaningful heart-to-heart conversations.
Right.
Right. And as if I remember correctly, there was a time when whatever subject you take, you have to compulsorily study English or Hindi as one language.
Right.
Then a time came when basic computer skills became the basic necessary thing. Whatever
Mhm.
stream you are doing in graduation or 10th and 12th higher school, you have to learn basic computer. Similarly, do you think that basic mental health issues can be made compulsory at curriculum level for school and colleges?
Right, right. I think basic mental health education also, that these are the mental health issues that you might notice in yourself or others. That is an important part. But
Hmm.
more important than that is imparting them life skills, resilience skills,
Hmm.
like ensuring that they learn how to cope with failure, uh, how to
Hmm.
basically cope with failure, how to uh, go with like uh, when they want to do something, then
Hmm.
how to put in the great resilience,
Hmm.
how to have hope and optimism in their life instead of
Hmm.
pessimism or
Hmm.
negativity. So all
Hmm.
those things are very important to inculcate early in the students.
Hmm.
The importance of hobbies, an
Hmm.
identity outside of the
Yes.
normal
Hmm.
like a student persona that they have. So
Hmm.
they are much more than just a student. Like,
Hmm.
although in an academic context we know them as students, but they have a more richer life which they
Yes.
should have.
Yes.
And once they do have a richer life, then they will be able to learn a lot more from their friends, from and it is known that a lot of the learning happens from peers and
Yes.
those
Yes.
interactions also. So how can we create that community feeling again? That should also be part of the curriculum. Like, apart from the resilience training and mental health education and all such training, like
Hmm.
how can undirected play can be part of the life again, rather than playing on video games and
Yes.
multiple player games? How
Hmm.
can they actually connect physically and like have a greater bonding?
Hmm. Yes, definitely. So, from that perspective, when we are talking about student training on all of these skills, you are also certified Gallup strengths coach.
Yeah, right.
So many times it happens that when we talk to somebody, then only we realize that these are our strengths. Otherwise, we always, as you have said, that optimism should also be taught in the schools. Looking at the environment, everything, everybody is looking at things glass half empty instead of glass half full.
Yeah,
So,
right.
what role do you think identifying strengths plays in fostering mental health in school children?
It plays a very vital role. Like, firstly, strengths give you a confidence that this is
Yes.
something that I'm good at. And
Yes.
everyone has some strengths or the other.
Hmm.
Like, you will have some strengths at the top, some strengths would be you will be utilizing less, but everyone has some strengths or the other. And these are not necessarily like in Gallup terms, there are other strengths, but there are other strengths framework also which I use, like
Hmm.
values in action, strengths
Hmm.
framework, via framework. So there, like, there are strengths like kindness also. So that
Hmm.
is also a strength.
Yes.
Curiosity is a strength.
Hmm.
There are strengths like wisdom, or strengths like perseverance, strengths like hope, optimism,
Hmm.
strengths like love of learning.
Hmm.
So there are many different types of strengths. So first, knowing that there are so many strengths, that I have those strengths, and then using those strengths gives you a lot of confidence and a lot of self-esteem and self-worth. And
Hmm.
that prevents you from falling prey to mental
Hmm.
health issues. Like,
Hmm.
once you own that I have these strengths, I am good at these things, and I'm utilizing these, your performance becomes better. Maybe
Hmm.
your career alignment gets
Yes.
aligned to the strengths that you have. And then you become a more unique and fully realized person. And
Hmm.
once you move towards a fully realized or like self actualized person,
Hmm.
then you move away from languishing or mental health issues. So if we
Hmm.
look at two poles, there are people who don't know their strengths, who are not
Hmm.
aware of their strengths, and who are just living life like it is, just
Hmm.
going on with life.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then there are others who know their strengths, their good points, their abilities, they are
Hmm.
leveraging them, they are performing to their
Hmm.
optimum capacity, and they are thriving in life.
Hmm.
So that definitely buffers you from mental health issues. It
Hmm.
doesn't guarantee that no mental health issue will happen, but it
Hmm.
definitely protects you a lot. Ki I have certain things good in me, and I am actually aligning my life with
Hmm.
those good qualities and strengths.
Yes. So it's you have rightly said that for an individual to become confident and mentally healthy, they should identify their strengths, right? So
Right.
my next question is that, for example, there is a group of, let's say, school principals and college directors, and they come to you and they say that although we cannot stereotype the entire generation, but what are the two, three primary mental health challenges which you think the young generation today is facing, and on which the schools and college directors and principals should focus more?
Right. So there are a lot of challenges that students or adolescents and young adults are facing. It
Hmm.
differs from the age group. Like in the adolescents, what we see is a lot of academic pressure, for example, to get
Hmm.
selected because they think it's a
Yes.
make or break time.
Yes.
uh, 10th 11th 12th is considered as a make or break time, that if you don't get in the right career at this time,
Hmm. Hmm.
then nothing will go well.
Hmm.
So we have to showcase more examples again that people do change their careers later on also and become successful. For example, if I refer to myself,
Hmm.
I did my CS from IIT Delhi computers, but
Hmm.
now I'm working in the field of psychology.
Yes.
So there has been a transformation. I discovered my passions and abilities late and aligned my career accordingly, and many people do.
Hmm.
So there should not be an artificial pressure that you have to have get it right in the first go itself,
Hmm.
or that if you do not succeed in this crucial time, then your entire career is ruined.
Hmm.
So that taking that pressure of the students of academics is one of the most important things, especially for vulnerable students,
Hmm.
because there are some students who are more vulnerable to this pressure. So
Hmm.
that is one of the main challenges, and this is true for young adults also. Like if we look at IITs also, or other engineering colleges also, or management colleges also, at times we see that even after getting into the college, there
Hmm.
are issues of suicide or mental health
Yes.
problems and
Yes.
things like that. So it's not
Hmm.
as if the uh, picture turns rosy immediately once you get selected, because
Hmm.
then you are competing again with people who are
Yes.
of similar caliber and
Hmm.
similar things. So
Hmm.
that is one of the primary challenge, I would say.
Hmm.
Then there are definitely many other issues, like social media distractions, and like how we can ensure that people use it responsibly. Online
Hmm.
gaming, social
Hmm.
media, all those things.
Hmm.
So that is again seen a lot in this generation, especially because they are digital natives, so to speak.
Hmm. Yes.
So how can they responsibly use it? That is one challenge.
Hmm. Okay, so we have identified two challenges here, and but one question I must ask before I move on to the next question, that you yourself are from IIT, and then you said that you moved to psychology, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
how did you take this decision, and what was the reaction of people around you, who
Right.
might
So
have told you कि you have done IIT and you can your bank balance will be entirely different if you switch your job from here to there. Yes.
right, and very valid reasoning from many people's perspective.
Yes.
But if we look at the science of happiness and everything, we know
Hmm.
that only a basic level of income is required for you to be happy. Anything
Hmm.
above that is not really adding to your happiness
Yes.
that much. And I
Hmm.
think even careers in psychology can give you that basic level of
Yes.
income to
Yes.
support. But
Yes.
going back to your question,
Hmm.
like definitely people around me were concerned, like they thought it was a step down or a step
Hmm.
in the wrong direction. Like
Hmm.
I remember when I left my job at Cisco
Hmm.
and suddenly announced to my family that I'm planning a transition to the career.
Hmm.
I mean, that was long in the making. My interest in psychology started while I was in IIT itself. But
Hmm.
then it took me a lot of courage to finally take the
Yes.
clean break and say that I'll now devote myself to this thing only. So
Hmm.
it was a shocker for the family, for my parents, for everyone around me, and they tried to like guide me in their own perspective, from their own perspective. But I think now I can say with confidence that the second career has worked out well for me,
Hmm.
and perhaps I mean even in economic terms, if you can say. So what I
Hmm.
would like to say is, and definitely I'm much more fulfilled, much
Hmm.
more happy, because I'm doing what I think I'm uh, ordained to do, I'm called to do. So
Mm-hmm.
that way I'm very much satisfied and happy. So I think at the end what matters is this happiness and satisfaction, that you are working towards a purpose that is aligned with who you
Mm-hmm.
are.
Yes.
So that makes it all worthwhile.
Yes. So now my actual question, which was in line with this, that even when you said that you were interested in psychology, but you were making up your mind, and it took you some years. So we, as a society, have associated a kind of taboo or trauma against mental health and psychology related issues. So even practicing that is a tough call to take, right? So
Right.
for a young kid who is 16, 17, 18, or 20, so many times the identification and the acceptance by the person itself is not there. So what can the society, parents, as society, we can do so that people start talking freely about all of these issues?
I think first thing is like admitting yourself, like as I said, showcasing exemplars that people who admit to these things
Mhm.
have done well in life also. Like, for
Mhm.
example, I'm not sure whether you know it, but I've been diagnosed with bipolar disorder quite early in my life.
Okay.
Now, that didn't stop me from planning
Mhm.
a transformation of career, and it was
Mhm.
not driven by that fact. I was interested in psychology since college days only,
Mhm.
but then I've done reasonably well in life.
Mhm.
So, like, if I don't tell this fact to others, if I don't
Mhm.
talk about it openly, it
Yes.
would be very
Yes.
hypocritical of me to say that we should talk about such things
Mhm.
and this is
Mhm.
normal or this should not
Mhm.
be taboo and there should be no stigma attached. So
Mhm.
I think the change starts from within, but not everyone would be suffering from such disorders. Like,
Mhm.
although the frequency of depression or anxiety is quite high in society as a whole, so even if many people come and talk about it openly, not necessarily on a public platform, but with their friends, family, then the supportive feeling becomes greater amongst the people to open up that, yeah, I am also struggling. And everyone has problems in living. They may
Mhm.
not be diagnosed as depression, anxiety, or phobia, or OCD, or anything like that, or
Mhm.
bipolar,
Mhm.
but they do have problems of living. So just being open that, yeah, I did suffer at that time and that I did take help from so and so person, and then like being open to approaching therapist or psychiatrist or psychologist.
Mhm.
So depiction in movies also has to change of how we
Mhm.
see the people with
Mhm.
mental issues and mental, and I think it
Yes.
is changing a lot.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm quite optimistic, but I mean, there are no easy answers to this. It has
Mhm.
to start slowly. That
Mhm.
people do talk about it. People have programs where these things are discussed, and
Mhm.
like people have clarity also what is depression, what is anxiety, what is bipolar, so
Mhm.
that they don't need to diagnose. They cannot. I mean, only a psychologist will be able to diagnose, but at least they will be able to help appropriately a person who's suffering or undergoing that particular condition.
Yes, yes, definitely. So, you have also been a technology expert, and in the age of AI and ChatGPT, how do you think we can leverage AI and technology to first create more awareness about mental health and psychological issues, and second, help those people who are in need?
Right. So we at Peakmind are working actively in that direction.
Hmm.
Like, we have a chatbot called Pico also as part of our app, which
Hmm.
utilizes like LLMs.
Hmm.
So definitely, based on the conversation, you can do a lot. Like, because the
Hmm.
conversations are like as if the user is talking to a therapist or a
Hmm.
companion. They open up, they talk a lot because they know that at the other end there's no one who's judging them. There's
Hmm.
a chatbot, an AI who is sitting, who
Hmm.
is not making passing any judgments on them. So
Yes.
users share a lot,
Hmm.
and through that we can detect early like what is the mental health issue, whether the person is suicidal or not,
Mhm.
proactively reach out to those people,
Mhm.
uh, give them options to call helplines, give them options to schedule sessions with appropriate psychotherapists in their
mm,
cities and places. So
mhm,
all that can very easily be done. Apart from awareness, like you can definitely ask chat gpt or anything about any mental health issue, uh,
mhm.
which you won't really talk about with your friends or family or other members because of, again, the fear of stigma and judgment.
Yes, yes.
You can definitely use it for that, but even beyond that, it can be used for early detection and then prevention, because
Mm,
at times you just require someone who's empathetically listening to you in the
mm,
nick of the moment for
mhm,
you to make that decision, revert that decision.
mhm,
And then obviously we cannot offload everything to chat gpt or
mhm,
llms, so it
mhm,
has to be combined with therapists,
mhm,
that you automatically trigger a therapist that this person is suicidal, and there are steps in that
mhm,
direction at places like facebook, etc., also detect if someone
mhm,
is doing a live feed of
mhm,
maybe the suicidal act, they'll trigger immediately the police
mhm.
or other people.
Yes.
So
Mhm,
all those technologies can be very helpful,
mhm,
and I think we are moving in those directions. So I'm very optimistic that with technology we'll be able to detect early, prevent early, and definitely raise awareness about whatever understanding anyone wants to have
mhm,
regarding these issues. They can definitely converse in confidence privately with the chatbot without fearing any judgment of a human. And
mhm,
then it also more accessible.
mhm,
Like chatbots are easier, less costly than therapists. Also, they are
mhm,
also pretty costly in terms of like the cost that they require, but definitely less costly than therapists.
mhm. Yes. So accessibility will be there with chatbots definitely, and the chatbot will also learn, and in future they will be improved also. So what kind of so for example, now we have new education policy, and since you are in associated with the education sector, getting into IITs and IIMs and NEET examinations also. So as a society and with these chatbots and more awareness is coming there. So what do you see what kind of future do you foresee for our mental health and well-being, especially in the context of Indian society? When I'm saying Indian society, so we are considered one of the smartest people in terms of maths and science. But if we talk about the happiness quotient, when happiness index is there, so India ranks very below. And otherwise, also we are a kind of people who keep things to ourselves. So do you foresee that in coming times, our future will be different from what we are today?
Yeah, definitely. I think with the acceptability of chatbots becoming greater
Mm-hmm.
and they becoming more accessible, the
Mm-hmm.
future is definitely going to looking a bit different and a bit more optimistic. Like, and it is sorely needed because India has a lot of problems to solve and a
Mm-hmm.
lot less therapists or psychologists.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so definitely we need all the technology we can use to solve this issue.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. So, my final question to you is that if a parent or if a student is watching this video, and so what message would you like to give to them?
Uh, my message would be that seek help whenever you think you need help.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no shame in seeking help. Rather, it's a sign and symbol of strength that you
Mm-hmm.
recognize who you are, where you need help, and that help is available.
Yes.
So definitely that is my primary message, that help is available, and there should be no stigma or shame in asking for help and reaching out for help. And
Mm-hmm.
you will definitely benefit. Everyone can benefit from these things, either talking to a psychologist or generally, like, if such programs are available like resilience training or life skills training, so encourage your your child to attend those things. If you're
Mm-hmm.
a student, do attend those things, because it's like you don't have to be in a reactive mode only, that once I like fall mentally ill or like I'm in a very crisis situation, then only I'll need to avail these things. It's better to be prepared firsthand. So attend these life skill sessions, these resilience trainings, these happiness trainings, to learn how to live life well,
Mm.
and try to align your career with a purpose, so that you don't really you are able to endure whatever life throws at you,
Yes,
because you
yes,
cannot guarantee that life will not throw any curveballs,
yes,
but you
yes.
have to be prepared and ready that you will be able to handle it. And one of the best means to do that is by being engaged in something, some relationships which give you very deep satisfaction.
Yes, definitely. So instead of being reactive, we can be proactive also, and we can prepare ourselves for all the curveballs the life is going to throw at us. So thank you very much, Gautam ji, and it has been a really insightful and meaningful conversation, and I am very hopeful that a lot of people are going to get benefited by this conversation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yes.